Welcome again to Richardson Plano Networkers. Today is Friday the 21st, and featuring today Jeanie Cisco-Meth, who will speak to us today about bully proofing you, improving confidence and personal value from the inside out. The participants will learn how to become bully proof in 4 easy steps, while also learning about the blind spot in bullying that can be fatal. Jeannie will discuss how victims are often mute and society is blind to what's happening. The myth that you can look at someone and know if they are being bullied or not. The truth that you don't know what is going on in their life. And the bullying warning signs and how not to wait for the warning signs. Jeanie Cisco-Meth wrote the book Bully Proofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. As a high school teacher for over 15 years, she saw the devastation that can be caused by bullies. The question Jeanie has sought to answer is after years of research is why do 3 out of 4 blow it off and 1 in 4 have serious lasting effects? As a teacher, parent, and former bullying survivor, Jeanie took action and developed the program Bully Proofing You, improving confidence and personal value from the inside out, following the principles discussed in her book. Please join with me in welcoming our guest speaker for today, Jeanie Cisco-Meth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And that sounds a little bit boring to me because I'm like, wow, did I do all that? I don't know. But what I want to do is, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to get to know you guys and spend a little bit of time with you. And I'm going to have you get up out of your seats for a minute. We're going to move a little bit to some music because I believe that it is important to be able to move and and share your hang on, I got to get my PowerPoint going. I can't think at the same time and do that. And so it's important that you're able to move, and I know that we sit a lot, and so we're going to be doing just some music here. And this song is called Life by Hadaway, and I'm going to be moving as well. So go ahead and let's move a little bit here to Life by Hadaway. If you can't get your enjoyed that. That was a little bit of a pick me up, get you going, moving a little bit, because I think we spend too much time at our desks now. Maybe not, but that's just kind of a feeling that I have. And so I wanted to get a little bit of blood flowing, a little bit of movement happening, because when I am in a peak state and in a peak vibration, I'm able to learn faster. And so that's why we do that. You may be thinking, what does this have to do with what we're learning? Well, I want you to know that after this, hopefully, if you apply what you learned today, your life will never be the same. It will absolutely change. And so I want to say thanks for being here with me today. And then I also want to tell you just a little bit about what you'll find in my book. This is the personal power pyramid, as I call it. And as you see on the bottom here is personal value, and then perspective, and then some planned responses. Because personal value, in my opinion, is the foundation upon which everything else is built. And so it's very important that we improve our personal value. Now, you received a workbook, hopefully, and in there are some questions. And what I want you to do is I want you to think for a moment, what kinds of things do I believe about me? What do I say about me? What do I say in my mind, not just out of my mouth? So often people don't realize that the biggest bully lives right here. They get caught up in what other people say. You know, a lot of media is given to what other people say, or bullies that people do from outside. But your biggest bully is the one that's right here. What do you say to yourself on a daily basis? When you look in the mirror, do you go, oh my gosh, I got another wrinkle, or another gray hair, or no hair maybe? What is it that you say when you look in the mirror? Because that is what you believe about yourself. Now, many times when I ask somebody, what do you believe? They're like, oh, I believe I'm capable. I believe that I'm smart. I believe I can do these things. And then a little bit later, as we start talking, the truth starts coming out. And they start saying things about themselves or to themselves that they would never, ever think of saying to someone else. And I hear that all the time. So if you're saying things to yourself that you would never dream of saying to someone else, stop. Stop. And that's what we're going to go through today. We're going to learn how to stop, and we're going to learn how to improve and upgrade our language. That's what today is all about, understanding the personal value and how we deal with it. You see, our personal value is actually a habit that we created as a young child. Somebody told us something and we believed it, or we discredited it, depending on what we were feeling. So I believe through tons of research and understanding and development that as a child, we decide who we're going to believe. Do we believe the people that are saying positive things to us, or do we believe the negative people that are saying things that could be hurtful to us? When I was in elementary school, I was told I was too stupid, that I would never make it through school. I had a lot of learning disabilities. And so maybe they had the right to say that. Now, some people would be crushed by that. I have a tendency to be a little bit stubborn. And I decided, wait a minute, you don't decide who I am. I decide. I decide what labels get stuck on me. And school was difficult. It was very hard. But I started realizing that I could be physically strong, even if I wasn't mentally capable of some things. And so I joined the Army. And I absolutely loved the Army because it challenged me physically. There wasn't a lot of mental things. And I think that's why I told my dad I wasn't going to go Air Force. To me, I saw Air Force as smarter. Navy, same thing. Now, if anybody's in the Air Force or Navy, awesome. You guys got good smarts. If you're in the Army, I'm not saying you're stupid. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I identified more with that. Because as a young girl, I had to learn, I grew up on a dairy farm, so I was bucking hay and, feeding calves and all of the physical stuff. And so to me, the Army fit me better because it was a physical line of work. And so I could shine, so to speak, where in other areas in the academic world, I fell down. Now it's really crazy to look back and go, wow, I've written 2 best-selling books. I'm working on my 3rd book. Why? Because I peeled off that label of you're stupid. And I put the label of, hey, I can do this on. What labels do you have on you that you need to peel off? Or as Randy's doing, what lint do you have on you that you need to peel off, right? What do you have on you that doesn't fit you? That maybe's been there for a long time and it's time to get rid of it. Maybe it's time. Start looking at what do you believe about yourself? What do you think about yourself? And what do you say? Because many times it has become a habit and people aren't even aware of it. One of my personal mentoring clients is 95 years old. I just love her. And she saw me on Facebook and she says, Jeanie, I need help now because I can't go another day with this bully in my head. I just love her. And she says, I wasn't even aware of it until you told me about it. And so maybe that's happening with you. Maybe you've heard the bully in your head, but you haven't really paid attention to it. And now it's become a habit and it's just there. And you constantly have to overcome it. I'm not sure. You know where you're at. Now, the first thing that comes up is that we have our thoughts. We have a thought that, I'm smart, I'm not smart. We'll use the example of when I sat down to write my book. When I first sat down to write my book, those voices from my teachers, from when I was in elementary school, from when I was in high school, were right there. And it was, you're stupid, you can't do this, everything. Oh, it was horrible. And I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. I can do this. I can do this. You see, I had started using this program that I'm teaching now with my high school students. And I had started teaching them how to use it. And I had studied it and researched it. And it was making a difference and it was saving lives. And so then I decided to transition from the classroom to the stage. And so my thought was, I want to reach more people. I want to help more people. That thought was placed there by other people. And then I started believing it as well. Now, depending on what your thought is going to lead to an emotion. I had the thought, I want to help more people. The very next thing was an emotion of fear. I was scared. What if somebody makes fun of me? What if I spell something wrong? What if I get ridiculed? That emotion of fear came up. And then what happens after the emotion is we either take action or it stops us and we are inactive. The difference is in the emotion. And a lot of people are not even aware of the emotion. Part of it is because we are so used to numbing ourselves through different media or things that we eat or things that we do. We have pain, and so we want to numb that pain. We want to bring that pain down. And then we're not even aware of what that emotion is doing to us. So you have a thought followed by an emotion. Go ahead and put in the chat maybe some thoughts followed by an emotion that you've had that maybe led you to activity or inactivity. Maybe when you went to reach out to somebody to market your business, did you move forward or did you stop? What was the thought and the emotion that came out? Because that's an important path to realize. You see, when emotion is high, intelligence tends to be low. We don't think very well because we get caught up in the emotional side of it. Now, there are basically a couple of things that happens here. One is maybe you've been taught from a young age to just discount emotion. Nope, don't need emotion. That pulls me off way too much. And so we just put emotion over here and all we do is thought. We're logical. We get caught up in the mind. Men typically tend to do that. Now, because I grew up in a male-dominated world, and then I joined the military, I was a men's basketball coach, many things like that, I learned to think like a man and put emotions to the side. And over about the last 10 years, I've learned that emotions are a huge part of us. And so I've learned how to use my emotion to move me forward. And it's my why. Why do I have my business? Why do I do what I do? That's because I want to help people. You see, when I was a high school teacher, we had a student in our school who committed suicide. And afterward, one of the teachers came up to me and said, you know, Jeanie, maybe if you'd written your book, you could have helped. And I decided in that moment, never again on my watch. If I could help somebody with a book, if I could help somebody with a video, if I could help somebody with a class or speaking to somebody, I absolutely would. I would do everything that I could. And that why moves me through the fear of picking up the phone and calling someone to be on their to be in their meeting or to be on their stage or something like that. So if you have something, you have, all of you here have a business. You do that business because you believe in it. Well, I hope you do that business because you believe in it. I hope you're excited about it. I hope it lights you up. So love what you do so much that it's a disservice not to offer it to somebody. Now, maybe you guys didn't have that challenge. I had that challenge. When I started marketing my business, I was afraid. Maybe you guys don't have that. Maybe you can pick up the phone and make a phone call. Maybe you can send that email with no problem. I had an issue. So I'm inviting you to move through that fear and know that what you have is valuable. Know that what you're teaching people is valuable, or what you're helping them do with insurance or your graphics, marketing things. It's beautiful. And I bet, Patricia, that your jewelry is just phenomenal. I bet that it's incredible and people need it because that's neat. And so as you offer it to them, you're doing them a service. And by not offering it to them, it's a disservice. So when your emotion is high, intelligence is low. However, you can overcome. I'm sure that you have heard of fight, flight, or freeze. A lot of people just call it the limbic brain, or fight or freeze or flight. Now, men, you've got it made. Men are able, they pretty much already know they're going to just fight. They don't have to decide between flight or freeze. They're just going to fight. Women have to decide. And so we have the ability to process things usually quicker than men, or in a much more, we can deal with more things at once because we have to decide, are we going to run away? Are we going to, are we going to freeze, or are we going to fight? Whereas men, they're just going to fight. And then if they realize, whoa, this is a bigger situation than I thought, then they may run away. That's a very reptilian brain thing that's happening. And so, however, many times we're not aware of it. We're held captive to that cycle, and we're not always sure how to break out of it. And so learning how to follow and understand your emotions, your thought processes, and what's going on allows you to take control of them and to manage them in an appropriate way. This is part of the limbic brain here. Our prefrontal cortex is one of the last things to develop. It has a lot to do with cause and effect. And then we also have our amygdala, our brainstem, and our hippocampus. Those are the parts of the limbic brain that are all wrapped around our survival. Our highest instinct is to survive. Our brain was not made to help us thrive. It's only made to help us survive. And so when we're creating that business or we're marketing our business, our brain is, whoa, hold on, danger. There could be a problem here. We could wind up getting hurt. And so we have to learn how to override that. And so the first law is of change, right? We need to change some things. The first law of change is realizing that you need to. Maybe you've had a bit of an epiphany right now and you're going, wait a minute, I need to change a few things. Maybe you need to upgrade and what you're doing with your marketing. I had a mentor last month that challenged me to book 31 stages in 31 days. And I thought, what? That's crazy. The most I've ever booked is 10 in a month. And you're asking me to triple that? Well, I'm happy to say that I did it. I booked 31 stages in 31 days. And what I learned through that refining process, right? Because whenever you set a goal, you've got to go through a refining process to make it happen. There's things that we have to burn out, just like gold. You have to melt gold down to get it purer, and you have to burn out the impurities. The same thing happens when you set a goal. It burns out the impurities in my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, so that I can reach that level. man, did I learn a lot in that process of booking 31 stages in 31 days, because it pressed me. It pushed me. My third week was the hardest. I wanted to stop, and I'm so grateful that I did it, because I needed to be here with you guys today. This is one of the events that came out of that marketing push. And so you may be thinking, okay, what do I need that's different in my life? What do I wish was going on right now? And so I want you to grab your pen and your paper, and I'm going to play some music here. And I want you to think about, what do I wish was different? What do I want in my business or in my personal life to be different? We're going to take about a minute and a half. Just write down some thoughts or put it in the chat. What do you wish was different? I know that sometimes sharing your wishes with other people may be a little bit intimidating, but you guys know one another, and hopefully you trust one another. I want you to know you can trust me too. I'm here to help. What do you wish was different? Something about yourself, something about your relationships, or your business. What do you wish was different? Go ahead and start finishing up. And stop, stop, stop. Okay, what do you wish was different? Now, Todd, I noticed that you put in the thing that you had a friend who bought life insurance, and that's beautiful how they're able to now use that as collateral to buy things. I bet you wish more people did that. I bet you wish more people did that for their children, their grandchildren, to set them up with a legacy like that. It's beautiful. I'm glad that you're helping people. And Ricky, as a songwriter, I bet you wish more people could listen to your music and feel the emotion that you put into it. Because song creates emotion. It creates feelings. And so I'm grateful for that you're able to do that. Don wishes that he didn't have as much isolation at work. I bet COVID has been difficult for all of us, hasn't it? Because we are made to be with people. We're made to hang out and interact with people, and all of a sudden we're shut down, locked away, and it can be very difficult. So thank you for sharing your thoughts in the chat. I really appreciate that. And I know that as you start thinking through this and going through some of these things, more things may pop up, and that's okay. The chat's there. Go ahead and put it in there. So I'm grateful to you for putting things in. Thank you, Randy. I bet that's difficult. I bet that's hard to, I'm 54. And sometimes, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't exactly what I thought my body would be doing today. I'm going through menopause right now. Boy, that's a whole new experience. And so I understand that. And I say a prayer every morning. I start my morning every day with a prayer. And I say, thank you, Lord, for giving me another day to be the person that you see in me. Because he sees me as valuable. And I don't always do that. He sees me as special. I don't always do that either. He sees me as needed. just like all of you are. You're needed. Your business is needed right now. That's why you're here. You're here to fill a purpose. So overcome that fear and move forward and love your body, because it's what houses your soul, and without your body, you can't move forward. And so recently, my husband bought me this lotion, and he said, every time you put this on, I want you to love your body. And it's been really interesting. It's been fun. So husbands, I'm just saying, you might want to grab some lotion for your wife and say, babe, put this on. You just might be happy. We'll just leave it at that, right? So Napoleon Hill says in his book, Think and Grow Rich, that you have to know that you have the ability. And then you have to demand of yourself persistent, continuous action. You see, I believe that we have become so used to getting things immediately that we forget there's a gestation period. The gestation period says that what you sow, you will reap. The problem is that I don't plant the corn seed today and I'm eating corn on the cob tomorrow. But in our instant gratification world, we forget that there's a gestation period, a time from when I start and a time from when I finally achieve it. You see, I have my clients all the time say, Jeanie, I've been saying these declarations for a week and nothing's changed. Okay, yeah, well, you're 40 years old. How long have you been saying the negative? It's going to take a little bit of time to start overcoming your fears, to start loving yourself again, to start believing that everybody, okay, maybe not everybody, but a good chunk of people need what you have. And it starts right here. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in your product, and you got to believe that it's worth it. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mel Fisher, but he's kind of one of my favorites. Mel Fisher found an incredible, the Spanish galleon. Now, you look at what he found and you're like, holy moly, I could do that. Maybe, maybe not. He spent 16 years before he ever made a penny. First year, he goes out, he gets investors, and he's all fired up. We can do this. This is awesome. He collects the money and he goes out. Nothing. Second year, same thing. Third year, same thing. Now, at the end of each year, he's got to build himself back up and go back out and say, hey, we're going to find it. I promise you, we're going to find it. I need more money. I don't know that I would have made it past year one. I'm working on it, though. And then about year 15, he actually loses a crew member. Now, I heard it as it was his son. Somebody else told me, no, it was just a crew member. I don't know. But I know that somebody died on his watch. That would be tough to overcome. And he still went back and said, I know it's out there. I know we can do it. And in year 16, he found $500 million worth of gold in the Spanish galleon on the bottom of the floor, of the ocean floor. It's pretty amazing. Thomas Edison, after 10,000 tries of trying to find the light bulb, finally found it. I'm sharing these examples with you because just because somebody says no doesn't mean they don't need what you have. It means you may need to ask again. It means you may need to push again. It means you may need to upgrade and change what you're saying. It starts here. Do I believe in me? Do I believe in my product? And do I believe that it will be worth it? If you have those three, you're golden. You can move forward. And then pay attention to what's between your ears so that it's not taking you out when it's most needed. Know that you have the ability. Now, there are 5 steps to change. I wish there was only one, but there are actually 5. And the first is what we've already talked about. Realize that you need to change. Hopefully, you've already got some ideas going. You're like, okay, you know what, Jeanie? I had that client last week that I reached out to, and they said no. And because of what you're saying, I'm going to reach back out to them. I think they really do need what I have. I just need to help them listen to me. Second thing is make a decision to change. You need to mix some things up. Sometimes we can get stuck in a rut. And when we're in that rut, we don't see the opportunities around us. So I invite you today to get out and go for a walk. Walk somewhere you haven't walked before. Maybe go for a drive somewhere that you've never driven before. And look for things that can shift and change your perspective so that you can see things differently. Many times we get caught up into the same thing over and over. I don't know if you're like me, but when I used to drive to work, sometimes I'd get to work and I'd be like, did I cross the railroad tracks? What what about that? Well, I had to because I'm at work, right? But our brain shuts off because we get stuck in a habit. The beautiful thing about habits is that we create our habits and then our habits create us. And many times we don't stop to check out our habits. Many times we don't stop and say, whoa, wait a minute. Am I doing this the best that I can do? Is there a better way? I had a gentleman that I used to go to just because he liked to argue. His name was Matt, and he loved to argue. And so I would go to Matt and I'd say, hey, Matt, I'm thinking of, and I would lay it out, and he would immediately start arguing with me why it wouldn't work, what was wrong with it, what would happen. And I'd listen to him and I'd say, awesome, awesome. Got a plan for that. Yep, check that out. Yep. Oh, didn't think of that one. Let's go back and check that one out. And so Matt gave me the ability to see things from a different perspective. Now, Matt and I didn't hang out much because he was negative ninny. I don't like that wet blanket on me. You can tell I got a lot of energy. And so Matt and I didn't really gel, but man, he really helped me see different perspectives. And so I read books from people that I don't usually follow or I don't agree with all the time because, Matt, sometimes I got some really good ideas. You see, we become the composite of the 5 people we hang out with. And sometimes you look around and go, am I the one? Am I the one that's bringing everybody down or holding us back? I don't know. It's just some questions to get you thinking. What do I need to change to make a difference? What do I need? How do I need to think differently? What perspective do I need to shift? And I make that decision. And many people think that I just make the decision once and it's a done deal. Got to keep making that decision. The second thing is decide what you're going to do. What action are you going to take? Now, I'm giving you a lot of stuff today. I'm hoping that you will pick one action. What's one action that you can take within the next 24 hours that's going to shift what you're doing? Maybe it's drive a different way, go for a walk, listen to some different music, call that person that you've been afraid to call, but you know you need to call. Decide what it is that you're going to do, and then take that action. And then guess what? Repeat, repeat, repeat. Because a lot of times we think, or I know that many of my clients say, but Jeanie, I decided to do that, and I did it once. Okay, cool. I got the ground ready to plant. I put my corn seeds in and I walked away and never thought of it again. It doesn't work, guys. You got to pull the weeds. You got to water it. You got to take care of it. Same things with your mind. Your mind is a fertile ground. It brings things in and it kicks some things out. Thanks to the reticular activating system, your RAS. I kind of like that. What's your RAS got you wrapped around today? You see, a lot of times the easiest way to get your RAS to show up is to think of something and decide something. You're going to make, now for me, it's maybe buy a new outfit or a car. You're thinking of a car. You're like, oh, I love this car. Never seen this car. This is a beautiful car. Then you get your car and you're driving down the road and hey, they've got one and hey, they've got one too. And hey, they've got one too. You see what happens is the reticular activating system is the filter that tells you what's important to pay attention to. We bring in about 4 million bits of information every second. 4 million. Our subconscious picks all of that up. Our conscious mind can only deal with about 4,000. And so the reticular activating system is the thing that says, hey, this is important. Let's pay attention to that. Oh, that we can just forget about that and move that away. And so your reticular activating system is a habit that you have built in. And so you notice the same things because that's what it says is important to you. So shake up your ass a little bit and start looking for things a little bit differently. Try something different, maybe that you haven't tried before, and then try it again and try it again, because repetition is the second law of learning. The first is awareness. The second is repetition, because you see, habits are overcome by habits. We can't just remove a habit. We have to replace that habit with something that we want. And so as I replace that habit, as I look around and I find out, hey, I've got some negative things that are going on here, I need to remove that habit and bring a new habit in. Okay, full disclosure, I've got the COVID-19 going on too. I don't know if you've heard that. One of my girlfriends the other day says, have you gained some weight recently? I'm like, yeah, I got the COVID-19 going on. And she's like, yeah, me too. I'm like, okay. So I started looking at what I was doing. So my husband used to be a truck driver. He was gone a lot. And so I worked all day. I love what I do. Love, love, love what I do. And now he's home and he wants to spend time in the evening. And I'm like, oh, okay, shut down the computer. He loves movies. So we go down into our theater room that we happen to have in the basement. Thank you, Lord. I feel blessed. We go down into the basement and we're watching movies. And hey, when you're watching a movie, you got to have your drink and your popcorn, right? I do anyways. Love my drink and popcorn. And so as I'm talking with my friend about my COVID-19, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what have I started doing? Yeah, got to change that habit. Because if I don't change that habit, I'm just going to keep going that way. And that's not where I want to go. And so now, see, you got my Stoopy mug here. I put some fennel in it because fennel tastes like black licorice. And so I sit down now and I'll watch a movie and I'll drink my black licorice tea and I'm happy. And guess what? COVID-19 is starting to release itself. I'm just saying. So what are you doing that you need to shift? What are you doing that you need to change just a little bit so that your life can upgrade? Because I like upgrades in my life. I don't know about you, but I do. Now I want to go over, first of all, the 5 common mistakes that a lot of people make, because I don't want you to make them. And so I want to save you some time with the common mistakes. And the first of all is thinking that what you're doing or what's happening to you is someone else's fault. Now, I could blame my husband for wanting to watch a movie and me gaining weight. I could blame him for that. I could blame my boss for telling me something in a review that I didn't want to hear. I could blame society. I could blame social media. I could blame. But guess what? Nothing changes if I blame. I could blame my teachers. I've had clients that have done that for a lot of years. Well, Jeanie, you don't understand what people said about me. Yeah? They said a lot of the same things about me. Peel that label off. Choose a new label and move forward. It's not someone else's fault. You've created the life that you're in, so that means you can create a whole new life. The next thing that people do, that's a common mistake, is that they keep playing that bad record over and over again in their mind. They say, I'm not good enough. I don't know. One record that I recently became aware of is, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. So earlier when we were chit-chatting before we got started, we were talking about the different speeds of download speed for your internet and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Well, I also found out that I was saying the same thing. I'm writing my 3rd book, and it's about my journey to how I tamed my bullies so I could write my 1st book. And I would sit down and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Yes, you do. Or I'll get ready to do a new video or new social media. I swear there's a new social media platform popping up every day. Guess what? I got put in Facebook jail. I did not know there was such a thing. I don't know, maybe you guys never been put in Facebook jail, but I was. I'm like, what's going on? So what I found out through my journey is that if you grow your social media exponentially, they'll put you in jail. Because we grew our Facebook in the month of March over 5,000%. Woo woo! I'm just saying, we went from a few thousand people each month to over 250,000 people in March. And I was like, yes, that's what happens when you put God in charge of your marketing. I'm just saying, all of a sudden we're reaching more people, we're having more interaction. I'm like, Lord, thank you. And then in April, we reached over 350,000 people. And I'm like, yes. And then all of a sudden, I can't post anything. I can't comment on anything. And I'm like, what's going on? And so we had to figure it out. We were in jail. I'm just saying. And what I found out is that if you grow your audience exponentially very quickly, they shut you down because they want to make sure that you're being kosher. So now I can help my clients. I can say, hey, you're in jail, but it's okay. This is what you got to do to get out of jail. As I upgrade my life and I learn and I move forward, I get new higher level problems. I like higher level problems because it means that I'm growing. You see, my current struggles are helping me with my future obstacles because I'm building muscles. That's what I'm doing. So stop playing that bad record and create one that helps you and uplifts you. The other mistake that a lot of people make are, I can control what others say. You can't. It's hard enough for me to control what I say, let alone what others say. Another mistake is no forgiveness. You've got to forgive yourself and others because we're human and we need to forgive. And then don't stay the same. You've been offered something amazing today. You've been given some opportunities to change and make a difference. Please utilize them. Please utilize them. Discipline is remembering what you want in the moment of temptation. Do I want to release my COVID-19 or do I want to sit down in the basement with my bucket of popcorn and my drink? Discipline is remembering what you want in the moment of temptation. And if I remember right, I think I'm supposed to stop now, aren't I? Oh, I got a 5 minute. Awesome. We got 5 more minutes. Awesome. I'm like, I know I'm getting close here. Okay, so
you're doing good. You're doing good, Jeanie.
Okay,
but,
awesome.
We'll land your plane about 5 minutes before the
Perfect.
hour.
That is perfect. All right. Discipline is remembering what you want. Also, the road to success is dotted with many tempting parking spaces. Don't get stuck in one. Get out and get going again. Your big, hairy, audacious goal, and that comes from Darren Hardy, it's in jeopardy because you see, your BHAG, the goal that you're going for, the big one that you have no idea how to get there, that's tough. That's hard. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along with an opportunity that isn't really quite what you want, but you can see it and you know how to get that goal. And so you give up on your big goal and you go for your little goal. Don't do that. Don't do that. Tame the bully between your ears. Believe that you can make this happen and make it happen. Take a step. Take the next action. Make it happen. Make it happen. I want to say thank you guys so much. If there are any questions that you have or anything that I can help you with, please go ahead and type it in the chat. Raise your hand. We'll have a chat and say, hey, Jeanie, this is what I'm dealing with right now. I'd love to help you. Let me know I can help.
Awesome, Jeanie. Anybody have any questions, comments? If you do, go ahead and open your mic. We've got a couple minutes here. So if there's something that you have burning that you'd like to throw out, Todd, you go ahead.
No, I was just opening up my mic. I thought everybody was. No, the only thing I would always have a problem with is forgiving myself. I've made a couple of mistakes that, just shouldn't have happened. And I was just an idiot. And, it's hard to forgive yourself. And I realized, that I probably, I could make excuses for why that happened, but now it's my fault.
So you're human. Oh my goodness, Todd, you're
Yeah.
human.
I know.
The best thing that
I
you
can't
can
believe
do.
it.
Randy says you're not human.
got it.
The best thing that you can do is what I call a write and burn activity. Write and burn is when you grab a piece of paper and your pen and you just write all those thoughts out. Write it out, because right now it's flowing around in your head and it's in a liquid state. You can't do anything with that. It just keeps sloshing around in there. But if you grab a pen and a paper and you write that down, it comes out of your head, out of your heart, down your arm onto the paper. Then you take that paper, you ask forgiveness, and you burn it. That's my favorite part. I like the pyrotechnics part. But get it out of your head, or else it's just going to keep rotating. It's not going to get out. So I invite you to do that. Do a write and burn, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Beautiful. And then let me know how it goes. Let me know. My email address is Jeanie@JeanieCisco-Meth.com. There's no hyphen in the email address, but shoot me an email and say, hey, Jeanie, I tried that and it worked, or it didn't. Because a lot of times when you try something new, there's going to be something that comes up and it can be difficult. So let me know, okay? Anybody else?
Don,
Yep.
go ahead.
Yeah, this is good work. I've been doing this kind of work for 14 years now with a men's support group, and we get together every week and work on what we call emotional intelligence and negative thinking and what's getting in the way, what fears am I creating, and all that self-talk. It's been very helpful.
Yes,
A
yes,
good place to practice all of this.
good.
It's allowed me to come here and get out more and be more.
Yeah,
Have
wonderful,
my own business.
wonderful.
But it took a long time. It took a long time.
Yeah, there's a gestation period, isn't there? It's not overnight. It takes some time.
I call it a frustration period.
Right. Well, I'd love to volunteer to come and speak at your group if you'd like. Okay.
That'd be great. There's a women's group too. It's called Women Within.
Oh, wonderful.
They have empowerment circles.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I'd love to be of service to you in any way that I can. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, guys, thanks again. Jeannie, let's give Jeannie a hand. I know that I've got the mics off, but you can hear mine and I can see yours. So thank you. That was awesome. I think there's so many nuggets there. And I will be recording this, or I am recording this, and this will be up on the Facebook group. And I would encourage you to go back. There's a lot of nuggets here. We always, the most important one is action, I think, in terms of the things that we have learned today. As we often say on Fridays, is take them, put them into action. There may be things that we've heard before. There may be things that sound like things that we even say, but the question really comes back to, are you saying them or are you doing them? And I have to always ask myself the same question. And so there's so many things that she shared with us today that will improve. And yes, Don, I recognize that there's many things in all of our communities that it goes back to our mindset. And that if we don't get that right, we don't get that bully between our ears, as Jeannie was saying, squared away, then it can be a challenge of taking the right action. So Jeannie has posted in the chat her email. Like I said, I'll be sharing the video sooner than last week, by the way. I apologize, I've been out of state, so I just literally posted last week's video just a few days ago. So anyway, but reach out to Jeannie.